And now on to our lead story tonight. Actor Sivaji, a very well-known superstar actor in the Telugu film industry, is lecturing his fellow actors in Tollywood about the clothes they're wearing. The immediate instigation this time is Nidhi Agerwal. Nidhi Agarval is an actor whose video being mobbed by a frenzied crowd of fans outside a mall in Hyderabad has become one of the most viral images of the year. Well, guess what superstar Sivaji had to say? He said, well, that's because of the clothes she is wearing, and women should cover up their bodies. And if you don't cover your body, you're basically inviting this kind of thing. That was the insinuation from this shameless actor. Well, despite an apology, Sivaji continues to lecture and moralize on women as if he's a custodian of what women should wear and what their bodies are subjected to on the streets. Despite an apology, he continues to lecture. In the latest, Sivaji has said that girls should not wear clothes that provoke and that middle-class values must be respected. Remember, a few days back, Sivaji had faced a backlash for his remarks at his film's pre-release event, where he said that beauty lies in full clothing, not displaying physical assets. The actor had later apologized for this, obviously because of public anger and media heat, and in his apology, the actor alluded to the Nidhi Agarwal mobbing case to defend himself. Reacting to this now, Nidhi Agarwal has broken her silence and taken to Instagram, reacting to Sivaji's clarification, saying, blaming the victim is called manipulation. Blaming the victim is called manipulation, says Nidhi Agarwal, the young star who was mobbed shamefully outside that mall. I want to keep those pictures on our screen right now because those are pictures that every Indian should see as to what even a privileged star actor can go through in full public view. Let's put those pictures on our screen. I want to go full screen on those pictures of Nidhi getting mobbed because that is the image that I am talking about. Can we make those pictures big on the screen? Singer Chinmai Sripada has also reacted to Sivaji's comment, saying that Sivaji has exposed his misogyny and it shows how unsafe it will be for women to work with him.
దయచేసి ఇంకో విషయం చెబుతున్నా, అమ్మాయిలు హీరోయిన్లు ఏ బట్టలు పెడితే వేసుకొని పోతే మనమే దరిద్రం అనిపించాల్సి వస్తమ్మా. ఏమనుకోవద్దు, హీరోయిన్లు అందరూ మీరు అనుకున్నా నాకు పోయేది లేదు, లాగి పీకుతాం మనం, అది వేరే విషయం. కానీ మీ అందం చీరలోనో మీ అందం నిండుగా కప్పుకునే బట్టల్లోనే ఉంటుంది తప్పితే సామాను కనపడే దాంట్లో ఏం ఉండదమ్మా. అవి వేసుకున్నంత మాత్రాన చాలా మంది చూసినప్పుడు నవ్వుతూ అంటారు, కానీ దేత్రముండ ఎలాంటి బట్టలు ఎందుకు వేసుకుని కాస్త మంచి వేసుకోవచ్చుగా, బాగుంటావు కదా అనే అనాలనిపిస్తుంది లోపల. నిన్న సాయంత్రం దండోరా ప్రీ రిలీజ్ ఈవెంట్లో హీరోయిన్స్ ఈ మధ్య కాలంలో వాళ్ళు ఇబ్బంది పడ్డ సందర్భంలో 4 మంచి మాటలు చెప్పాలని చెప్తూనే 2 అన్పార్లమెంటరీ వర్డ్స్ నేను యూజ్ చేయడం జరిగింది. డెఫినెట్గా ఎవరికైనా వాళ్ళ మనోభావాలు దెబ్బతింటాయి. నేను మాట్లాడింది అమ్మాయిలందరినీ ఉద్దేశించి కాదు, హీరోయిన్స్ బయటకు వెళ్ళినప్పుడు బట్టలు జాగ్రత్తగా ఉంటే మీకు ఇబ్బంది ఉండదేమో మా అమ్మ అనే ఉద్దేశం తప్ప నేను ఎవరిని అవమానపరచాలని కాదు. బట్ ఏదైనా 2 అన్పార్లమెంటరీ వర్డ్స్ దొర్లినాయి. దానికి మై సిన్సియర్ అపాలజీస్. అండ్
ఇన్ లూలు మాల్ 1 week बैक निधि अग्रवाल जी वहाँ पे एक फंक्शन में गया, इतना बड़ा मॉब है, वो खींचने लगा. शी वेयर हाफ ऑफ ड्रेसेस. आई सा हर फेस, इतना एम्ब्रासिंग है उसको. मेरे को लगा आई हैव टू टेल दिस, आई हैव टू एड्रेस दिस. सो वो टाइम में 2 अनपार्लियामेंट्री वर्ड्स यूज किया. सो इट इज रॉन्ग. आई सेड सॉरी, थैंक यू. बट मैंने जो भी कहा मैं उस बात पे खड़ा हूँ.
బట్టలు వేసుకున్నా
గౌరవంగా ఉండాలి ఆడవాళ్ళతో.
అంటే చాలామంది నిన్న కామెంట్స్లో కొన్ని పదాలు వాడారమ్మా, నాకు ఆశ్చర్యం వేసింది ఆ పదాలు. ఎప్పుడన్నా సాయి పల్లవిని ఎవరన్నా టచ్ చేశారా? ఎప్పుడన్నా అనుష్కని ఎవరన్నా టచ్ చేశారా? ఎప్పుడన్నా సౌందర్య గారిని ఎవరన్నా టచ్ చేసిన సందర్భాలు విన్నామా? ఇలా చాలామంది లయాని ఎవరన్నా ఆమెను చూడగానే మా ఇంట్లో అమ్మాయి అని అంటారు. ఆవిడ మీరా జాస్మిన్ నిండుగా, మలయాళీస్ అందరు కూడా బయట నిండుగా శారీస్ కట్టుకొని వస్తారు. నేను మిమ్మల్ని అందరు అమ్మ దండం పెడతా, మీరు ఎట్టొచ్చినా మీ ఇష్టం, నాకు సంబంధం లేదు. అలాగే ఒక నిమిషం లక్ష్మి గారు, ఒక నిమిషం నన్ను మాట్లాడండి. అలాగే భూమిక గారిని ఎన్నోసార్లు వచ్చింది ఆవిడ, ఎవరన్నా టచ్ చేశారు ఆవిడ్ని? నేను అంటున్నాను, ప్రొవోక్ చేయకూడదు. ప్రొవోక్ చేసినట్టు అనిపించినప్పుడు మీరు అన్నదానికి కుర్రాళ్ళు ఆహా నువ్వు ఇలా ఉంటావా, వాళ్ళు పందాలు వేసుకుంటారు. పిల్లలుండి చిన్నపిల్లలు, మన పిల్లలు వాళ్ళు. నేను అంటాను, మనం ఎందుకు అవకాశం ఇవ్వాలి అనేది నా ఉద్దేశం తప్ప, మీ ఇష్టం అండి. మీరు బట్టలు వేసుకున్నా, ఇంకా మంచి బట్టలు వేసుకున్నా, ఆ తర్వాత మీ ఇష్టం, మీ ఫ్యామిలీ, మీరందరూ సమాజానికి అగెన్స్ట్గా వెళ్ళినా ఉన్నా, నేను మాత్రం కోరుకునేది ఒకటి, ఈ జనరేషన్ ఆడపిల్లలకి, అమ్మ నేను ఒకటి చెప్తున్నాను, మిడిల్ క్లాస్ ఎక్కువ ఈ దేశంలో, మరీ ముఖ్యంగా మన తెలుగు పిల్లలు. నేను చెప్పేది ఒకటి, ఇది మీరు పాటించమని నేను అంటల్లా, జరిగే అనర్థాల గురించి మాత్రం చెప్తాను. జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండండి, ఇంతకన్నా నేను చెప్పేది ఏం లేదు. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Chinmayi Sripada, one of India's most well-known singers, but also one of the bravest people in the industry, joins me live now. Very few people are willing to speak out against misogyny and sexism, and Chinmayi has done it consistently, not least because she has been at the receiving end of that same kind of misogyny and sexism in her career as well. Chinmayi, good to see you. Welcome. Sivaji's words are hardly surprising. I don't think anybody is shocked by it. I'll come to the larger malaise in these film industries, but the immediate sort of impulse of an actor to comment on a woman's clothes after what was clearly a traumatizing experience for Nidhi Agarwal in this particular instance. Were you surprised? I know you weren't, but I'm still going to ask you that, Chinmai.
See, I'm not really seen somebody really come out and say this on stage in the manner that he did, in such a brazen manner, with the kind of slurs he used. End of the day, Nidhi Agarwal or somebody like that is actually his colleague. So I think not only Nidhi, there has been another event where another very, very popular superstar female actress was also mobbed, and she was also, kind of groped, and there was a lot of discomfort that she had to go through. She also was wearing a sari in that event.
Yeah,
it was a public event, but I think this entire thing about sari and everything comes with caveats for him. The sari needs to be covered to a certain extent, otherwise you are inviting assault. Now, I think the two things that he said. First thing, he used a slur, and he said, even if you think anything, I'm not going to do. I don't care a damn about it, because he says, "Lagi piki kodam." I'm just going to hit you. He literally says, "I'm going to hit you anyway, no matter what you say." So it was disturbing at multiple levels, but. The more disturbing thing, I would say, is the number of women, the number of men in civil society today who believe that what he said is absolutely right, and women are inviting this sort of assaults and harassment and abuse onto them only because of their clothes. There's absolute lack of just basic awareness and education is what's even more traumatizing, because today we are living in a country, in a world where, as much as we speak about sexual abuse on women, the bigger, larger problem that I have been speaking on my socials for at least 7-8 years, is that young boys are equally, if not more, vulnerable than girls. There are no safe spaces for boys to speak about sexual abuse. There are no spaces for an 18-year-old boy to actually go and report a case of gang rape.
Yeah.
Our laws still are not safe safe. They don't exist for a boy to safely go and report sexual abuse. And we have seen so many such cases where I think a minor boy was recently gang raped, and I don't know what happened to that. Then what do we do about it? The concept of sexual abuse and sexual assault itself is a crime that needs to be
Chinmay,
looked upon.
is it, in the instance of Sivaji, is it because the entire history of the film industry, and we know that victim blaming is as old in the film industry as sexism and misogyny itself. But my question is it because nobody ever really pays a price for it? On the contrary, it seems like misogyny, sexism, and comments of this kind are in some ways almost incentivized in certain film industries. These things are cheered on. Fans like this kind of commentary. And that's the reason it happens?
That's precisely why. I think because they think this is very cool to say, and there is public support for this, because publics have the general youth and people on social media have been desensitized, and even those sane voices are really afraid of coming and speaking up on social media, because a couple of us who voiced this out and spoke up, there is torrential abuse. There is the amount of slurs and attack on the family, abusing my children, the kind of responses that we get. A few weeks ago, I spoke about something else, and one of the social media users, they had spaces on Twitter, and they said women like me should not have children, and even if we have children, they must die immediately. So these are the kind of discourse that they have here, and he also tends to give an example of girls, very popular actresses who are dressed according to the way that is acceptable to him.
Yeah.
And he says, did it happen to this person, this person, this person, this person, this person? It has. Actually, worse has happened to these women on social media, where there are some really horrifying, disgusting, psychotic trends that have happened on social media, where I think even repeating this is very disturbing. It might even slightly affect them. So I want to keep that. But one of the ladies that he mentioned, actress the late Soundarya,
Yeah.
there have recently been images of her morphed in some really ugly ways, and she has passed away. I mean, which is why women's bodies, even if
they don't need to be alive for it to be manipulated.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this entire thing about what we need to do is to say that it's not about what we wear or how we present ourselves.
Yeah.
And no matter what, no means no. I mean, and then there is also this counter theory that it's not just women who are assaulted in such mobs. Men are also assaulted. Precisely the point. Why aren't we talking about boundaries?
Yeah, but in this case, Chinmay, final question. Nidhi is actually, usually we see actors kind of take it in their stride, swallow it, and just move on, because survival in some of these film industries means having to put up with this. Someone like you, had the agency and the guts and the courage to call it out, even at the risk of damaging your career in so many ways. But someone like a Nidhi Agarwal has now put out on Instagram that victim blaming is manipulation. That's a huge risk, isn't it? That's a huge risk.
It is. It definitely is. But I do want to say that I think there were a couple of people on stage that day when he was rattling off. They were uncomfortable. Those two people also put out, Mr. Actor Navdeep and a couple of others from that event also put out a tweet saying that whatever he said was wrong. But yes, Nidhi is a young girl. She's not going to be having, expecting her to have the courage to call out this ecosystem, which is generally sexist and misogynist. And they expect girls, they can be around, but the moment they have a voice and say, listen, this is not what I want, they are abused in response. Nobody signs up for the kind of abuse that we generally get from opinion. Yeah.
We'll leave it there. Chinmay, thank you very much for your time today on this very, very sensitive story. There's no end to it, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about it very soon again. Chinmay Sripada, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're taking a quick break. Much more coming up on the other side. Stay with NDTV.